Discover 7 heartwarming moments as Ginger and Mama transform a mischievous bunny into an incredible adventure. The sun streamed through the tall oaks lining the street as 10-year-old Ginger raced outside, her heart pounding with excitement. Today was to be an adventure. She breathed in the sweet scent of freshly baked cookies wafting through her neighbor's window, a reminder of the laughter and love buzzing through their cozy suburban neighborhood. But as she darted into her backyard, she spotted chaos. Her freshly planted garden lay in turmoil. Dirt and seeds tossed wildly as a little bunny danced around, its fluffy tail a blur. Ginger's eyes widened. This wasn't just any ordinary glitch in nature. This was a call to adventure. Filled with glee, she dove right into the mess, shouting, "Hey little buddy!" The bunny paused, twitching its nose, its big eyes sparkling with mischief. This discovery was set to unfold into one riveting, unpredictable ride. Ginger's heart raced not just from the thrill, but because in that very moment, she envisioned the magical journey that awaited both her and her beloved Mama, the perfect person to join her on this heart-tugging quest. Mama, who worked long night shifts at the local clinic, always returned home with warmth despite the weariness etched on her face. As Ginger recounted the drama unfolding in the garden, Mama chuckled before they sprung into action, armed with carrots and determination. The little bunny, full of sass, nibbled at the treats while gleefully trampling over their freshly planted seeds. With every silly mishap, a muddy paw print trailing across the kitchen floor, an overturned laundry basket creating a whirlwind of misplaced clothes, they found laughter together. And in those humorous disasters, Mama began sharing tales about her father. Each story unfolded lessons about kindness and resilience, revealing the rich fabric that stitched their family and community together. But their laughter dimmed when Mama came home one evening, her shoulders heavy, a cloud of worry hanging over her brow. "Ginger, sweetheart, budget cuts may threaten my job." Those words struck Ginger, tightness gripping her chest. She swallowed hard, realizing that this adversity could shatter their little universe. But the kindness they had just spoken of flickered deep inside Ginger. Inspired by the little bunny's untamed spirit, she decided that they could whip up a change. "What if we host a bake sale?" Ginger proposed, determined to empower her mother and attract the whole neighborhood to rally for something bigger than themselves. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." Ginger's excitement surged through her as she envisioned the community coming together. She enlisted the charming Mr. Thompson, famous for his apple pies, to bake with her, and a single dad with a passion for brownies who brought his kids to pitch in. As the days rolled closer to the bake sale, nerves danced in Ginger's belly. What if they couldn't raise enough money? On the day of the sale, she stood before her neighbors trembling. As she counted the contributions, disappointment pooled in her eyes when she realized it wasn't enough. Glancing at her mother, the tears held back in her heart sparked a deeper realization. They weren't just selling treats, they were igniting hope. In that moment, Ginger knew this was about more than just money. It was about love, family, and rising together as a community against whatever storms lay ahead. Would they have the strength to transform disappointment into determination? Would this silly bunny teach them a lesson about resilience beyond their wildest imagination? Ginger took a deep breath, trying to steady her racing heart. The aroma of baked goods filled the air, and the laughter of children echoed in the background, but all she could focus on was the nagging fear that their efforts might not be enough. She turned to Mama, whose gaze was fixed on the crowd, eyes shimmering with hope and love. Ginger wished she could share her doubts but didn't want to dampen Mama's spirit. Suddenly, a voice chimed in, breaking the heavy atmosphere. "Hey Ginger. I just sold 3 cookies to Mr. Johnson." It was Timmy, the youngest Thompson, bouncing on his heels, his cheeks smeared with frosting. Ginger couldn't help but smile at his enthusiasm. It sparked something within her excitement that they were, indeed, making a difference, no matter how small. With newfound energy, Ginger took the microphone, her voice shaky but determined. "Thank you everyone for being here today. These treats are made with love, and every penny we make will help us face the challenges ahead." The crowd cheered, and she caught glimpses of head nods and smiles. Even Mr. Johnson, the grumpiest man in the neighborhood, grinned as he placed a few bills in the donation jar. Hope swelled in her chest. Maybe every donation, every cake sold, didn't just mean money for Mama. It meant connection, a thread stitching their community together tighter. As they continued selling, the little bunny hopped by, sniffing at the leftover carrot scraps. The kids gasped, gathering around the furry creature, laughter bubbling up as it nibbled playfully. Ginger watched them as joy spread across their faces, reminding her of why they initiated this bake sale in the first place. Hours passed, and as the sun began to set, casting golden hues on the group, Mama approached Ginger, worry lines still etched on her forehead but a smile breaking through. "I know this day wasn't just about the money," she said softly. "It's about who we are together." Ginger nodded, tears threatening to spill over. Just then, the little bunny darted towards them, stopping short. It sat back on its haunches and twitched its nose, almost as if it had an announcement to make. The laughter quieted, and for a brief moment, everyone's attention turned to this tiny creature that had unknowingly brought them all together. Then, to everyone's surprise, the bunny leapt forward and stole a chunk of banana bread right off the table. Gasps and giggles erupted from the crowd. Ginger felt laughter bubbling in her throat too. Mama joined in, laughter ringing out like sweet music. In that silly little moment, something clicked in Ginger's heart. It was resilience. It was joy amidst worry. After the sale wrapped up, they counted the money together. It wasn't the fortune they had hoped, but it was enough. Enough to cover a few bills. Enough to give Mama a moment of relief. Ginger realized it wasn't just about the funds. It was the community that had rallied around them, the friendships rekindled, the love that filled the air. As they packed up the leftover goodies, a sudden thought struck Ginger. They had created something magical today, but they still had challenges to navigate ahead. She looked up at Mama, who was gazing out at the setting sun, her expression thoughtful, almost as if she was contemplating the future. "Mama," Ginger said quietly, "what if we keep this going? A monthly sale could be our way to stay connected like this." Mama raised her eyebrows at the idea, a glimmer in her eyes. "That could be wonderful, but would the neighborhood support it?" Ginger's enthusiasm surged. "If today is any indication, I think we can count on them. But what we did today, it makes me feel like we can handle whatever comes next." Just then, the bunny scampered back into view, rear end in the air and paws wide as if to say, "Adventure's not over yet." Little did they know, that silly bunny was about to lead them down another unexpected path, opening the door to even more delightful chaos and heartwarming moments. The next morning, sunlight streamed through Ginger's window, casting playful patterns across her bedroom floor. She could still hear echoes of laughter and the chatter of friends from the bake sale. It filled her with a bubbling sense of hope. Ginger leapt out of bed, her mind racing with possibilities for the next community event. "Mama, are we still thinking about the monthly sales?" she called out, pulling on her favorite t-shirt, a faded one with the words Baking Queen written across the front in bubbly letters. Mama poked her head in, a warm mug of coffee cradled in her hands. "Absolutely, darling. But this time let us involve more people. We could also showcase their specialties. Imagine the possibilities." Ginger's heart raced. What if we create a community recipe book to sell alongside the goodies? Everyone can share their favorite dishes. Mama nodded, her face lighting up at the idea. That would invite even more participation. Everyone has a dish that's special to them. The excitement was infectious. The two brainstormed together, tossing ideas back and forth. As they sat at the kitchen table, the little bunny hopped in through the open door, its nose twitching inquisitively. It settled next to them, as if it wanted to join in on the planning. "Maybe we could name him," Ginger mused, her eyes sparkling. "How about Baker Bunny? He could be our mascot." Mama laughed. "I love it. He could even have his own recipe like Baker Bunny's carrot cookies." Just then a loud knock echoed through the house. It was Timmy, bursting with energy as he swung the door open. "Hey Ginger. I heard about the next bake sale already. Can I sell my mom's famous chocolate chip cookies?" "This is the spirit," Ginger exclaimed. "We're going to make it a community effort, and of course you can sell cookies." Timmy beamed, and before long, A small group of children had gathered, each sharing ideas for what they could bring. The atmosphere transformed. It was intoxicating. With each shared enthusiasm, the community grew one idea at a time. Ginger scribbled ideas in her notepad, the page filling up with names and suggestions. Cupcakes, fruit pies. Their collective creativity spun into a web of connection, sparking something deeper than just a bake sale. It was about sharing their lives, their stories through food. Amid the joyful chatter, a familiar face appeared. It was Mrs. Lawson, the neighborhood's warm-hearted elderly woman. "Did I hear something about a bake sale?" she asked, her smile reaching her eyes. "I might need to dust off my secret brownie recipe." Ginger's heart soared. "The more the merrier. Would you be willing to share some memories too, Mrs. Lawson?" "Oh, you bet. I'll have stories to share about every recipe." She chuckled, her laughter wrapping around them like a hug. As the crowd grew, a sense of unity enveloped them. They weren't just planning a bake sale anymore, they were weaving a larger tapestry of belonging that linked every member together. Later that night, as the stars twinkled in the sky, Ginger lay in bed thinking about their plans. A cozy warmth filled her chest. But tucked beneath that comfort was an unshakable question. What if the excitement faded? A plummet of doubt crept in, but she shook it off. "Tomorrow is a new day," she whispered to herself, "and with it comes new possibilities." Just then, the bunny scurried across her window, pausing to twitch its nose at her, as if to remind her that adventures are often full of surprises. What would happen when they opened the doors to their community? Ginger couldn't wait to find out. The sun peeked over the horizon, casting golden beams that seemed to dance across Ginger's room. She woke up buzzing with energy, her mind still teeming with all the ideas they'd sparked the day before. Today was the day they could begin reaching out to neighbors, inviting them to contribute to their community recipe book. "Mama, let us get started," she called excitedly, already throwing on her favorite cowprint apron. Mama appeared, her hair slightly tousled but her eyes sparkling with the same enthusiasm. "I've already set up the kitchen table. We can make a list of everyone we want to invite." They flitted around the house, gathering pens, paper, and recipe cards as the little bunny happily hopped after them, its ears twitching curiously. As they busily marked down names of neighbors, they could include Mrs. Lawson, Mr. Chun, and even the quiet Mr. Thompson who lived at the end of the block. Ginger's heart began to race with anticipation. But then a fleeting doubt slid into her thoughts. What if they don't want to participate? What if they think it's silly? Mama noticed her hesitation. "Remember, darling, everyone loves to share a piece of themselves. Food has a way of connecting us." Ginger nodded, biting her lip but feeling the warmth of reassurance. With a deep breath, they decided to go door to door, spreading the word. As they stepped out into the welcoming bright day, the streets felt alive. They went first to Mrs. Lawson's house. Ginger knocked, her heart pounding in sync with the rhythm of anticipation. "Who is it?" came Mrs. Lawson's sweet voice from inside. "It's Ginger and Mama." The door swung open to reveal the beloved neighbor, her apron dusted with flour. "Well, if it isn't my two favorite bakers. Come in, come in." After some happy chatter, Ginger shared their idea. "We want to create a community recipe book, and thought you'd love to contribute your famous brownies." Mrs. Lawson's eyes twinkled. "Oh, I would just love to. And I have some wonderful stories about how my mother made them." With each house they felt more empowered. Mr. Chan shared tales of his grandmother's dumplings, each bite filled with history and laughter. The shy Mr. Thompson surprised them with an old family pie recipe, which had been passed down through generations. After a couple of hours, the excitement became palpable. They returned home, their arms filled with an assortment of recipes and stories, feeling like the day had conjured up a new magic in their community. As dusk began to settle, they gathered around the kitchen table, surrounded by handwritten notes and a sprinkle of flour that seemed to frost the air. The little bunny hopped onto the table, its big eyes watching all the commotion. "This is going to be a book full of heart," Ginger exclaimed, clapping her hands together. Mama smiled, her voice warm. "And it's just the beginning. What if we included photographs too? People can share tales alongside their recipes." The idea lit a spark in Ginger. "Yes, we can ask everyone to share something about the dish, a memory or a story." Suddenly a thought struck her. What about the neighborhood kids? We should include a section just for them. Mama raised an eyebrow, her expression turning contemplative. That could open a whole new world of creativity. But what if they're too shy, or think their dishes aren't special enough? Ginger's thoughts swirled. She knew what it felt like to doubt her own abilities, but this was different. We have to encourage them. I want every child to feel proud. They need to know their voices matter. As they leaned over the notes, a cozy silence swirled in the kitchen, filled with hope and determination. Suddenly, the little bunny gave a loud thump, startling them both. What was that? Ginger asked, her heart racing. Mama chuckled. I think he's excited about the adventure too. What if the real adventure was just beginning? Ginger's heart fluttered with possibilities. She smiled, thinking about how each recipe could weave together their lives in ways they hadn't imagined yet. Little did they know a surprise was lurking, just around the corner, one that would change everything. The next morning arrived with an invigorating chill that danced through the air, awakening Ginger with fresh excitement. She jumped from bed, her mind racing with all the plans they could make. Mama, I think we should go to the park today, she shouted, her voice filled with anticipation. Mama appeared, already tying her hair into a ponytail. The park? What's the plan? We could invite the kids. They can meet the bunny and we can tell them about the recipe book. I want them to be part of it, Ginger suggested, her eyes sparkling. Mama nodded, clearly absorbed by Ginger's enthusiasm. That sounds wonderful. Let us pack some snacks and head out. Before long, they were set, the little bunny almost bouncing with excitement as it hopped into a basket. Ginger clutched their recipe notes like a precious treasure, even bringing a few sample ingredients to share. The park was only a short walk away, but it felt like they were embarking on a thrilling adventure. As they arrived, the sun spilled its warmth, wrapping around them like a cozy blanket. Children played, their laughter bubbling up into the air like music. Ginger scanned the area, recognizing familiar faces: Emma from next door, Lucas who lived 2 blocks away, and even little Mia, who always seemed shy. Hey everyone, Ginger called out, waving her arms as she ran to gather them. Come over. We've got something super fun to share. The kids looked curious, exchanging glances as they approached. What's going on? Lucas asked, a hint of skepticism lingering in his tone. Ginger took a deep breath, standing tall. We're creating a community recipe book, and we want you to be part of it. Will you join us? The kids looked at each other, surprise softened by intrigue. Mama stepped in, her gentle voice soothing the atmosphere. You all have your own favorite foods and recipes. Don't you want to share something that makes you feel happy? Emma piped up. I make cookies with my grandma, and I help my mom with taco night, added Lucas, the excitement building in his voice. Ginger's heart soared as they began to share their stories. Mia fiddled with her fingers a bit, clearly hesitant but still listening. Ginger reached out to her. What about you, Mia? Do you have a special dish? Mia's eyes lit up and slowly she mumbled, I make fruit salad for our family picnics. That sounds amazing, Ginger replied, grinning. Can you tell us how? With that, Mia's confidence blossomed. Ginger felt an electric pulse of joy as the kids gathered in a circle around the little bunny, excitedly chatting about their recipes and adding more details to what they could include. As they shared their ideas, Mama pulled out a box of cookies. A sense of camaraderie wove among the kids as they nibbled on the sweet treats. With each bite, they felt more connected, sharing laughter and delighted smiles. Suddenly, a bold thought came to Ginger. What if we also included drawings of our dishes? We could make it colorful and fun. Yes, they all cheered in unison, their voices harmonious like a song. The little bunny hopped between them, drawing attention and delight. It felt like they were all part of a magical secret, laughter filling the air as they imagined their creations on the pages. But then, as they settled into their plans, a little tension gripped Ginger's heart. What if they laugh at our recipes? She whispered to Mama, who looked on, her expression thoughtful. Mama knelt down beside her. Sweetheart, sharing is what makes us brave. It doesn't matter what others think. What matters is the love and stories behind each dish. Ginger nodded, her doubt overshadowed by the warmth of their friendship blossoming. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, its golden rays illuminating their hopeful faces, they couldn't shake off the feeling that this was only the beginning. What they didn't yet know was that life had its unexpected challenges ahead, and not everyone in their community was as welcoming as they hoped. As the golden sun began to set, a sense of togetherness enveloped the group like a warm hug. Laughter bubbled over the sounds of playing children, the air thick with the scent of cookies and the sweet anticipation of creating something wonderful together. They spread out their blanket, a bright checkered cloth that stood out against the vibrant green of the grass. Ginger felt a rush of happiness. "Let us start with our drawings," she declared, jumping to her feet, her energy contagious. The kids grabbed their crayons and papers, each one eager to capture their favorite recipes. As they sat down, the little bunny hopped around, a fluffy ball of mischief that brought smiles whenever it came close. Lucas was first. He drew a plate of tacos, giggling as he explained how his mom let him add extra cheese. Emma followed, her face lighting up as she sketched cookies shaped like stars and moons. "They're always better when made with Grandma," she bragged, and the others nodded in agreement. Ginger glanced over at Mia, who was somewhat quieter than the rest but seemed more absorbed in her drawing with every passing moment. "What are you working on, Mia?" Ginger gently asked. Mia's eyes glittered, and then she sheepishly turned her paper towards Ginger, a colorful fruit salad, bursting with bananas, strawberries, and a drizzle of honey. "It's for summer picnics," she said, a proud smile creeping onto her face. "That looks beautiful." Ginger clapped her hands, excitement coursing through her. "We could have a picnic while we taste our dishes." The idea struck a chord with the kids, and they all chimed in, brainstorming how to make the perfect picnic. But as they were wrapped up in their plans, the atmosphere shifted. A group of older kids approached, their shadows stretching long in the evening light. They moved with a kind of swagger, looking down at the younger ones with expressions that screamed judgment. "What are you losers doing?" one of them sneered, crossing his arms. Ginger felt her heart sink. The laughter and joy that had filled the space moments before was suddenly choked by a looming sense of anxiety. Mama, sensing the change, stood up, her protective nature flaring. "All we're doing is showing our love for cooking with each other," Mama stated firmly, but there was an undertone of kindness in her voice. "Would you like to join us?" The lead boy scoffed, glancing at the drawings scattered on the blanket. "Seriously? You think that's cool? Who do you want to look at those dumb pictures?" Ginger felt the heat rise in her cheeks. She could see the uncertainty in Mia's wide eyes and the frown on Lucas's face. Would they let the unkind words take away their joyful day? "No, it's actually really fun." Ginger's voice shook slightly, but she pushed through her fear. "We all have our favorite foods, and sharing them is what makes it special." There was a moment of silence as the older kids exchanged glances, the tension thick enough to slice. Would they laugh? Would they ruin everything? Just then, the little bunny, oblivious to the shift in mood, hopped over to the group of older kids, its fur gleaming with the sunlight's hue. A few gasps and chuckles broke through the group. How could anyone resist that fluffy face? Ginger watched, holding her breath, hoping, praying. Would the laughter return this time? The older kids finally cracked a smile, their tough exteriors softening a bit. "All right, whatever. Let's see what you've got." A weak truce had formed, but the feeling in the air wasn't quite right yet. Ginger's heart raced as possibilities swirled in her mind, daring to hope. As they went back to planning the picnic, the shadows of doubt hung just a little heavier. She wondered what would happen next. Would this day turn out the way she envisioned? Or was there a storm coming that could wash their dreams away? The sunset was beautiful, but Ginger's heart was heavy with uncertainty. She stole a glance over to the older kids, half hoping they would become allies and half fearing they wouldn't. Would they join in the fun? Or would they take it away? Before anyone could respond, the little bunny hopped closer to the older kids, its nose wiggling inquisitively as if it sensed the tension. Lucas leaned down to pet it, his brows raised in surprise as the bunny nudged his hand. "Hey, check it out. It likes you." Lucas laughed, his voice brightening the mood a notch. The older kids exchanged cautious looks, and for a moment, the atmosphere felt lighter. "Bunnies are kinda cool," one of them admitted, his tough facade cracking just a hint. Encouraged by this small victory, Ginger took a deep breath. Now was her chance. "See, food and animals. It's all about sharing good times," she said, her voice filled with warmth. "We were thinking of having a picnic with everything we drew. You guys should join us. It would be way more fun with more food. Our food just pictures. Emma piped up, her previous shyness forgotten. We can make it. I have my grandma's cookie recipe that we can bake together. The lead boy raised an eyebrow, the corners of his mouth twitching. And you think we'd help with that? Why not? Ginger shrugged, mustering as much confidence as she could. Everyone could pitch in. We could make a huge picnic and invite everyone in the park. A pause hung in the air again, thick with uncertainty. But curiosity was beginning to take the place of suspicion. Fine, I guess we could give it a shot, one of the older kids said, his voice sounding almost friendly. Ginger's heart soared, and she could feel a wave of relief wash over her. The picnic was no longer just their idea, it was becoming a community event. Great. Let us all gather what we need. She clapped her hands, excitement bubbling within her again. The group got to work. They divided tasks and shared ideas enthusiastically. Mia began to gather fruits, her confidence growing with every smile shared. Lucas ran off to mix his mom's taco filling, looking determined. Emma chatted with the older kids about baking techniques, surprising herself with how knowledgeable she felt. As they worked, Ginger caught glimpses of the older kids laughing and even teasing one another, their previous scorn fading like the daylight melting over the horizon. It was mesmerizing, seeing them turn from adversaries into allies. Just as they began to feel like a true team, an unexpected sound broke through the air, an argument between two of the older kids. It's not fair. You ate my last slice. One shouted, glaring at the other. The tension bubbled back to the surface. Ginger felt her chest tighten, anxious that their new alliance was crumbling before it even had the chance to fully form. Guys, let it go. She called out, hoping to douse the flames. We're all working together, remember? Yeah. Lucas chimed in, his voice steady. Let us just focus on the picnic. We can all be friends if we try. The atmosphere wavered in that moment, uncertainty gripping the group. Would they manage to pull together, or would old grievances pull them apart? As they took hesitant steps towards reconciliation, Ginger caught a flicker of hope amid the chaos. There was potential here, real potential. But would they find a way to overcome their differences? Or would the evening shatter into conflict once more? Ginger felt the weight of the moment pressing in around her, a blend of fear and excitement. Could kindness make a real difference? Would the night end in joy or heartbreak? The sun dipped lower, its glow barely enough to light the path ahead. With a hesitant breath and a flicker of hope, Ginger watched the tension in the group simmer down. But just as quickly, her heart sank as the older kids resumed their argument, voices rising again. Seriously? It wasn't my fault, I was hungry. The boy with the messy hair shot back, crossing his arms as indignation washed over his face. Ginger wanted to interject again, but the warmth she had felt moments before was slipping away. Hey! Emma raised her voice shyly but firmly, surprising herself. What if we all pitched in to make a huge meal? We all like food, right? We could even make that special taco spread and cookies. It could be the best part of the picnic. Her suggestion floated in the air, mingling with the fading light. For a second, everything felt suspended. Slowly, the other kids turned to look back at Emma, their brows furrowed in thought. The argument seemed to hover on a thin thread, teetering between confrontation and compromise. Well, I guess I could help, one of the boys began, his voice softening slightly. Yeah. Lucas chimed in with renewed energy, and I'll show you my mom's secret spices. Emma smiled brightly, her earlier shyness melting away behind eager enthusiasm. And I'll bring all the baking stuff from my house. Grandma always says the more, the merrier. The lead boy let out a reluctant chuckle, the corners of his mouth betraying the grin wanting to escape. Fine, but I'm not washing dishes. Ginger felt a rush of relief wash over her. They were moving forward, inching away from conflict and towards camaraderie. With renewed vigor, everyone seemed to shift their focus. Mia dashed towards the trees to gather fresh fruit while Lucas and the older kids rummaged through bags, redistributing cooking supplies. Just as the group was starting to harmonize into one cohesive team, a sudden loud crack rang out through the park. Everyone froze. A few heads whipped around, eyes wide with surprise. The noise grew louder, echoing until it revealed itself a soccer ball had collided against the large oak tree nearby. It rolled into their circle, stopping right at Ginger's feet. Seriously? One of the older girls scoffed, her eyes narrowing on the group of boys who had come running. "Can't you keep your game away from us?" "Sorry," a boy piped back, his cheeks red with embarrassment. "We didn't mean to interrupt." Ginger bit her lip, unsure of how to react. An idea sparked in her mind. "What if we invite them too?" She blurted out, her heart racing. "The more the merrier for our picnic, right?" A shocked silence settled over her group, uncertainty flashing in their eyes. Would this suggestion be met with acceptance or rejection? "But it could be fun," Emma added quickly, her voice full of conviction. "We can all work together. Imagine how great it would be to play games afterwards." Ginger felt a surge of courage. They had opened the door to connection. Maybe it was time to step through it. "Let us not let our food go to waste. Let us make it a big celebration." The energy shifted, gossip and doubt fading into curiosity. As the older boys ambled over, uncertainty danced across their faces like the shadows of drifting clouds. Ginger's heart pounded. Would they agree? As smiles began to bloom around the circle, hope surged bright within Ginger. Maybe the picnic could truly be a gathering, a way to break down walls, find joy in the chaos, and embrace new friendships. But would they have the courage to stand together? Or would lingering doubts tear them apart just when things were looking up? As the sun dipped below the horizon, the light slipped away, leaving behind a glimmer of excitement. Would this gathering spark something deeper? Or would it be just another fleeting attempt at connection? The air thickened with anticipation as the older boys approached, hesitant steps echoing the uncertainty lingering in everyone's hearts. The group shuffled, their faces painting a mosaic of curiosity and skepticism. Ginger held her breath, her palms clammy with hope. Would they join in? Would they share in this moment? "What is all this?" a tall boy with shaggy hair asked, glancing from the spread of bags and food to the eager faces before him. We're planning a picnic," Emma jumped in, a quick smile lighting her face. "And we were thinking, maybe you guys would want to join us? We could all cook and have some fun together." A wave of silence washed over the group. The boys exchanged glances, their expressions a mixture of disbelief and intrigue. It was as if Ginger could see the unspoken thoughts bouncing between them. "Will there be tacos?" One of the younger boys piped up, his eyes wide with desire. Emma's face brightened. "You bet. And fresh fruit and cookies too." "Cookies?" The shaggy-haired boy raised an eyebrow. "I'm in. But no one gets to eat the cookies until all the chores are done." With tentative nods and smiles, the boys stepped fully into the circle, instantly shifting the atmosphere. The tensions faded into laughter and gentle teasing as the children grabbed supplies, energy electrifying the group. Just then a commotion erupted. Mia, who had been busy gathering fruit, couldn't contain her laughter. "Look at this," she said, holding up a particularly large apple like a trophy. "It's bigger than my head." Laughter echoed around the park, a spontaneous chain reaction of giggles and jests. For that fleeting moment, any worries and doubts dissolved. They were just kids, with the world ahead of them to explore and savor. As they dove into preparation, Ginger felt a warmth spreading through her chest. She had hesitated earlier, worried about how everyone would react, but as they chopped, stirred, and mixed, they created more than food. They were weaving new connections right there at that picnic. Fueled by the bliss of the unexpected collaboration, they began tossing around ideas for games to play after the meal. A soccer match? A scavenger hunt? Each suggestion was met with excited chatter until someone yelled, "Tug of war." That single call sent waves of laughter and enthusiasm washing over the group. The boys boasting of their strength, the girls cheerfully countering with their plans for strategy. They divided into teams, the air alive with playful rivalry that drowned out the last whispers of previous arguments. As the first batch of tacos hit the grill, a delicious smell wafted into the air. People began to gather around, their eyes wide with anticipation and stomachs rumbling. Ginger felt a pang of joy as she watched them together. But just when things seemed perfect, the laughter suddenly quieted. A loud voice boomed from behind them. "Hey, what's this party without us?" Ginger's heart dropped. Suddenly, she was reminded of the last hurdle to overcome, their older siblings. A rowdy bunch known for gate-crashing birthday parties and BBQs. Would they be welcome, or would they disrupt this fragile harmony? As they turned, eyes wide and anxious, the tension in the air thickened again. Would this day end in celebrations or chaos? What would happen when her parents arrived? Would they embrace this new friendship? Or would those walls come crashing back down? Ginger held her breath, watching as the older siblings approached, a mix of cocky swagger and curiosity in their eyes. She glanced at her friends, their faces mirroring her apprehension. This was it. Could they turn this day into something magical? Or would it all come tumbling down? Wow, what is going on here? One of the older girls scoffed, crossing her arms. Are you guys having a party? Before Ginger could think of a smart response, Lucas stepped up, a newfound confidence lighting his face. We're having a picnic. Want to join? The crowd turned, surprise mingling with hesitation. The older siblings exchanged glances as if weighing the offer, and finally, one of the older boys shrugged. Why not? Sounds better than hanging around doing nothing. Laughter erupted, breaking the tension like a wave crashing on rocks. Ginger's heart soared. Maybe this was the moment they all needed. Emma brightened, her cheer infectious. Join us. Help us with the tacos. A few steps forward brought the siblings into the circle, and Ginger felt the warmth returning, new connections illuminating the once uneasy atmosphere. They tossed around taco recipes, everyone contributing their ideas, the conversation flowing like a river of camaraderie. Okay, I'll help you, one of the girls declared, already eyeing the ingredients strewn across the blanket. But only if I can have first dibs on the cookies. Deal. Ginger laughed, relief flooding her chest, filling the cracks of doubt with joyful possibility. As they worked in harmony, Ginger felt her heart swell with pride. The chaos around her morphed into something beautiful. Everyone, from the littlest kids to the oldest siblings, coming together to create a feast. The little bunny flitted between feet, weaving in and out, making the line between work and play blur even more. After the food was ready, they gathered around, excitement buzzing in the air. With a simple nod, Ginger took a moment to look around at her friends, her neighbors, the siblings, everyone gathered together. A swell of emotion swept over her like waves crashing against the shore. All right, everyone, thank you for helping. I'm so happy we made this happen together. Let us dig in. The cheering erupted, and they all clamored for plates, laughter bubbling like the fresh soda they poured. Food filled the air, made everything brighter. The tacos went fast, with fruit salad being a surprising hit as Mia beamed, glancing at the smile she had helped create. With mouths full, conversations danced around the group. There were stories shared, laughter ignited, games proposed, and Ginger realized the picnic transformed into more than just food. It had become a gathering of heart and spirit, a tapestry woven with shared dreams and supportive friendships. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow, they started tossing around ideas for the next gathering. We should do this every week, Lucas shouted, his voice alive with excitement. Yes, Ginger chimed in. A potluck and game night. Bring your favorite dish and we'll have even more fun. The older kids nodded, lively energy pulsing through them. Count me in, another boy said, a newfound brightness shimmering in his eyes. And just like that, in the soft glow of dusk, as laughter echoed into the night, they had created something unforgettable together. Ginger felt her heart swell, filled with warmth from the community she had helped ignite. The little bunny darted close again, and she scooped it up, a radiant smile spreading across her face. She knew the journey had been unpredictable, but sometimes it's the unexpected that leads to the profound. She leaned into Mama's side, her heart full of love and hope. We did it, Mama. We really turned it around. With the stars twinkling overhead and the sounds of laughter surrounding them, Ginger realized they had begun to cultivate a community where love and support now blossomed amidst the challenges. In that magical moment, everything felt perfect. She could feel this adventure was only the beginning. Together they would face whatever came next, armed with resilience, nurture, and a fierce spirit that would light the way. But the greatest surprise of all was that a little bunny might just hold the key to that extraordinary journey ahead. Now is your moment. You need to subscribe immediately to dive into more heartwarming transformations just like this. Leave a like now to support this growing community. Your thumbs up truly helps us reach even more fans of inspiring stories. We want to hear your feelings about this ending. Drop a comment below, and let us connect. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to experience this magical transformation. Your support means everything.